What does the Catholic Church say about illegal immigration? Now, this is one of those issues where you're going to make instant enemies no matter what you say. It is inherently divisive because for a number of reasons. Number one, Catholics don't read the Catechism of the Catholic Church by and large. They don't know the Church's teaching on migration, breaking the law, illegal immigration, and so on. You can see it in sections starting around 2020. I'm going to quote from 2022, 2241, I should say. We'll get to that in a second. I interrupt the flow of this podcast to remind you to hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't have to look for this content. It will come to you. And I want to invite you to join the True North movement. Click the link in the bio. We talk about media, false narratives. We talk about history, theology, sarcasm, literature, great movies, good books, the things that you can have your life changed by, this life and the life to come. So click that link, join True North, like and subscribe. And now back to the podcast. Of course, I'm bringing up another reason now why it becomes so emotional, because you're talking about two different loyalties. You're talking about the loyalty to Christ and the church and loyalty to the United States. Now, I'm just speaking from the American perspective here. Patriotic Americans love this country. They love that its traditions, they love its democratic ideals, they love that it's a republic, and they love the American dream. This is a great country. I came here by choice from Canada. I'm an immigrant. So sometimes your loyalty to Christ and the faith can clash with your loyalty to the country on either side of the spectrum. The more, hardened, ossified traditionalist approach versus the loopy, progressive, let's change everything approach. What I'm suggesting is a reasoned via media, a middle way that balances mercy for migrants who are here in this country with the justice involved in obeying the law. Now, this is all coming up because of the man we all call Pope Francis in Rome wrote a letter to the U.S. bishops recently. You can click the link and read it. It's terribly short, given the subject matter, and it shows that he doesn't want to mention President Trump by name. He doesn't want to mention Republicans or American law in any specific way, but this is clearly a salvo across the bow of the American political ship with respect to our borders. And it's one of his favorite and enthusiasms to talk about the fate of migrants. And what got my attention was his likening illegal immigration with the Holy Family, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. The problem with that is that as Jews in first century Palestine, the Holy Family had general Roman rights. Not like Paul, not specific citizenship rights, but they could travel from Judea to Galilee, to Egypt, to Samaria. The analogy is more like King Herod. They live in Portland, Maine, and King Herod shows up saying, "I'm going to kill all the newborn male babies under the age of 2." So Joseph receives the message of the angel and takes Mary and the baby Jesus from Maine south to Florida. The states or provinces is a better analogy. They were not illegal. They didn't break any federal law. In fact, the modern nation state didn't exist in the time of the Holy Family. So that's not really a good analogy to use. It's misleading, and it leaves out a lot of facts that would otherwise clarify the situation. This is another example of how the church brings such a balance and real-world approach to this crisis. The Catholic Church, this is from 2241 in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church has always defended both charity and justice. The Church further states that wealthier nations should assist migrants in need, but also have the right to regulate immigration and enforce their laws. In other words, a country has the moral authority, the right, and the duty to protect the borders while still treating migrants with dignity. Without language, borders, and culture, you have no country. And the problem is, we're not talking just about families seeking a better life. We're talking about coyotes, drug cartel members. We're talking about drug mules, rape killers, thieves of the whatever it is, 11 million, 22 million, who knows what the exact number is. A certain percentage of them are bad actors. And there's no way you can sugarcoat it. And if we had stricter border laws, those crimes would not be committed by illegal aliens. Again, I'm a legal alien. I know what it's like to wait in line, pay the fees. I know the frustration of the red tape. Everyone watching me right now who's from another country, who loves America, feels the exact same way. Hey friends, a quick note about something really important and how to get it. A good night's sleep. I have been a proud associate of MyPillow.com for almost 7 years now. I've interviewed Mike Lindell, the founder, many times. He's lied about all day long in the media, but one thing they can't lie about is the quality of his products. They're American-made. They're made with integrity, with a money-back guarantee, and you cannot go wrong. It's win-win all around. I don't really have trouble sleeping, thanks to, in part, MyPillow. I have the travel version, which is smaller. In fact, this is my actual MyPillow. I love it so. But it's not just pillows at MyPillow.com. It's also doggy beds, it's slippers, it's bathrobes, it's towels. Go to MyPillow.com, get the Patrick Hoffman Show discount. PATRICK is the code. You're welcome in advance. And now, back to the show. There are procedures set in place so that the regulation of the flow of immigrants can be accommodated by the host country instead of a flash flood of people coming over all the time. And that also includes people from other countries, say of a terroristic sort, makes it easier for them to integrate in a cell fashion where they can unleash whatever acts they want to unleash in the future. So we see this open borders thing explode in Europe and England as well, this unchecked immigration. It's almost a death wish on the part of the host country. America is a country founded on immigration. Ellis Island, the great traversing of all kinds of obstacles to get here to this great country. It's part of the lore, it's part of the American myth, if you will. But there has to be integration. You have to learn English. You have to learn about the Constitution. You have to learn about the way of life, the DNA of the founding documents. You don't have to be a constitutional scholar. You don't even have to be a teacher of it. You just have to know the indispensable minimum facts of the history of America and why she was founded and what the rights and duties are of citizens. If you're just coming over to send money or begin a second family, this is another problem that happens with illegal immigration, is it encourages bigamy. Someone from south of the border comes across and they get a girlfriend or they get a wife and they start a whole new family. And the origin family doesn't know. This is a thing. Another kind of sign of the chaos and national decline. Now, what about the good people? What about the people who are good-hearted? They're just fleeing poverty and violence and so on. Well, this is where the mercy of the Catholic Church kicks in and has always kicked in. We have abundant openness to caring for people who are struggling in poverty or suffering. What's our mandate? Chapter 25 of Matthew's Gospel. The separation of the sheep and the goats, based on how the disciples treat people who are in prison, people who are hungry, people who are naked, people who are lonely. And you could say some illegal immigrants are just that. Jesus says, if you do this to the least of these, you do it to me. So in an applied sense, every suffering illegal immigrant is Jesus in a disguise. Now, sometimes the motivations for coming here are understandable and human, and they deserve care. They deserve patience. But they don't deserve to break federal law. There should be consequences. Now, even though deportation is a conversation or a word rather that people don't want to have, what we need is an immigration system that balances the justice and the right and the duty of a country to protect its borders and shore up its traditions so that the people coming over at the right pace have integration on their mind. On the other hand, we should be kind to people who are needy. We shouldn't stigmatize. We shouldn't attack. There should be no groupthink. Without borders and culture and language, we have a serious problem because that's the end of a country. I think everyone instinctively knows this. By the same token, we shouldn't lose our Christian compassion. It shouldn't become nationalistic in the sense of triumphalistic, not welcoming, because this is the most welcoming country in the world. It's not called the Canadian dream. It's not called the Zimbabwean dream or the Chinese dream or the Australian dream or the Swedish dream. It's the American dream, because this is an amazing country to live in. The limit is you. You are your own cap here in America. We have so many freedoms. It's absurd and ridiculous. So, cultural instability, increased crime, social chaos, these are all the fruits of illegal immigration. And by the way, it's in the Civil Code, 1325, on illegal aliens. Deportation is legal. This is not unjust. And our bishops, unfortunately, have taken a lot of government money and don't seem, or perhaps do see, the consequences of so many illegal immigrants voting for the Democrat Party, which tilts all the elections in one direction. So, with all due respect to the letter given to the bishops, I would love, and I'd love for you to read it. Just click the link and you can find out more. Do you think the church should support President Trump's immigration policies? Is it mean? Is it rational? Should we focus on fixing the legal immigration problem instead? I know you have thoughts. Leave them in the comments. If you want to find out more about faith and culture and politics and good movies and books and tradition, check out the True North movement. We'd certainly love to have you. That's True North in the bio. Be a saint. What else is there?